Curtis, DIYers.
DIYers, we have an interview here on the Sherri Shepherd Show with Maya where she talks about a conversation she had with Prince where he called her when she went independent. For those that don't know, Maya has been independent for some years now. He called her to inspire and reinforce her decision to go independent. And this is what she had to say about it. I thought this was really interesting.
No. You know what I love about you, girl, is you're not afraid to step out because, you know, so many people are with these big labels. You moved away from the big labels and you have went independent. You went independent before, yes. You went independent before, like a lot of artists decided to go independent. Was it anybody that just inspired you to do this?
Absolutely. Well, I'll just say this. When I first went independent, I didn't necessarily know what it was and what it meant in totality. But when I did go independent, someone that called me knew what it was. And they knew the landscape and wanted to pull me aside to inspire me, but also reinforce that, hey, this is the way. Okay. And I'll help you along the way. And that artist was the artist we all know and love. His name is Prince.
Oh, man. Shout out to Prince one time, huh? Hey, yo, DIYer, if you're enjoying this content, please don't forget to hit the like button. It helps this video and this channel get discovered by new people. I appreciate you. Now back to the video. There's so many stories out here of Prince making these phone calls or refusing to do collaborations, even with artists like a Nas, because they didn't own their masters, and he just did not want to deal with the nonsense that came with dealing with artists that are attached to major labels. He was very much about the autonomy of artists. He was very much about the freedom that he wanted to work how he wanted, with whom he wanted, and make whatever music he wanted. So it's no surprise that he would call Maya at that point in time, because when she went independent, independence now has a very different reputation than it had when she did it. When she did it, for a lot of artists, they looked at it as a death sentence because it meant that all that visibility that you got by being associated to the major labels, you were no longer going to be able to enjoy that. And you pretty much had to go figure it out on your own. Now, that sounds like freedom to us. For some folks, that was a death sentence. Maya wasn't one of them. And I'm sure getting a call from Prince, the independent king himself, probably was really reinforcing. So I'm gonna let her continue.
Prince was the one. I was like, who's calling you? Yeah. So Prince was the one that told you about being independent and the pros and the cons and the. Yeah, when Prince says that, I guess it's just like that's what you need to do.
That's what I need to do, and I'm gonna figure it out.
Is it, you know, like a certain freedom being, you know, on an independent label as opposed to these big labels?
Well, I love both. There are the best of both world situations, and I love the merging of two. I'm from the major label system. Yeah. But independence has allowed me to have a sense of creative freedom. Right. Also knowing what's in, going out at all times. My mother's my accountant. She keeps the book straight since 1990.
I know that's right. I love the way that she approached that, right? Because one thing that is something that happens a lot with independent artists that have come from the major label system, a lot of them want to like stick it to the labels because they know how grimy these labels can be. They understand how cutthroat that business is. And how many of them will write these artists off? Talking about the major labels, how many will write these artists off as, you need us? Good luck trying to duplicate any ounce of success you had when you were underneath our regime. And a lot of artists take that personal, and when it's time to shine, they get very loud about the things that they're doing independently. Maya has put herself in a situation where I'm sure, she would be open, I'm assuming, to a major label partnership, but she's not in need of it. She has figured things out independently. She has been a touring artist. You always see Maya on tour at festivals and doing her thing. She's been releasing or getting ready to release new music. So there's a lot of freedom that comes along with that for some artists is terrifying. For her, she's looking at it like it's empowering. So it's dope to hear her talk about it from both sides of it. And that, yeah, major label, I come from that system. But at the same time, having the freedom to work how I want to work, and then also knowing the money that is coming in versus going out, that's got to be pretty comforting to know, especially when it's your mom that's on the books.
Yeah.
But
Ain't nobody getting past mama.
Sense of empowerment. And you know, music is very fun. It's a gift. And the ability to preserve that gift and the love for it, I think independency has helped me keep that intact. And I'm in a childlike state all of the time.
Yeah.
Because it's not always just business. Now, that's important, but it doesn't lead, and it's not the most important thing, especially when I'm creating and sharing.
Right,
You know,
absolutely.
it's very honest and authentic first.
So not that pressure of a big label.
Yeah, or deadlines, you know.
Yeah.
And I imagine too, like when you are creating your art, you want to focus in on just your art. And then as you're talking about now, we got to get into album titles, album artwork, album rollout. You want to build something around the music, right? Let the music be what it needs to be, which is the best representation of where you're at as an artist at the point in time. And then you want to structure a business plan around what do we amplify? What things that are working here tell stories that we can now tell through a rollout? I think a lot of people get into the major label system and find out that they're not operating business like that. Matter of fact, their business, them suits is in the booth with you. They're trying to figure out, like, do you really need to make a song with this person? Do you really need to? You should make something sexier, because then what we can do is we can bring in these sponsors. We can do this. We can do this kind of a video. You could work with this person. And although that works for certain artists, I think for artists that are true to form artists like a Maya, like a Prince, you have to let the art lead first and then figure out what the rollout and the business plan is going to be around this product. And I don't think it's a one size fits all, and it should have ever been a one size fits all for the way people operate business. So I salute Maya for not only continuing her independence, but also taking the advice that Prince gave her and continuing to thrive with it. That's dope.
Yeah.
Well, and you know what? I love that what you're doing now, and you're so creative. And it's what I want to say is finally we're getting this from you. Congratulations on your new single, ASAP.
Shout out to her.
Finally, Maya.
Shout out to her, because we know as independent artists, ain't nothing about this easy. Prince has always been very outspoken, rest in peace, has been very outspoken in his time here about his independence and the importance of his independence. And I found this clip here that shows him reinforcing the necessity of freedom after going through the major label system. DIYers, real quick reminder. If you enjoy these reactions and you want to go a little bit deeper, we got a private Patreon community waiting for you. On the Patreon, you get access to a private Discord, early videos, and full replays of the live streams that you won't see anywhere else. So if you support independent media and want to actually be a part of the process, hit the Patreon link down below in the description. Join the DIYers and let's keep this independent. #RR. As you know, down in my downstairs podcast room and stage, I have a photo of him where he has slave inscribed across his face. And this is one of the interviews that he did with the Tavis Smiley, speaking on that, as well as his need for autonomy. Peep this out.
I had to get freed from the mentality of being a slave. You understand?
Right.
Okay, and that's not to equate myself with the same situations that we suffered coming to this country, but you know, everything is relative. If you are owned, you are owned. If you can't do everything that you want to do, if there's a ceiling and you're not allowed to go as high as you can go, you are in fact a slave.
That you are happier now than you've ever been?
Oh, absolutely. You know, I thank God every day.
Think about that childlike energy that Maya says that she has now as an independent, and recognizing that, yeah, although it's a lot of work, although it falls on our shoulders, at least it falls on our shoulders, and anything that happens, whether it's positive or negative, does not matter, because we know who to blame. We know who to talk to. We know it's ultimately on us, and it's things that we can switch around to put it back on track. So with him talking about how euphoric the feeling is to be independent, that's something that I think the entire journey is worth fighting for.
We as people, because we have to answer to a 9-to-5 or answer to a boss or whatever, you know, man didn't come to earth like that. Man came to earth for recreation, which means recreation, and to recreate love, you know, and you can't do that when you're constantly angry and you're constantly being held back. Well, I'm finding, after studying my music now for the past 3 or 4 years, that when one completely listens to one's inspiration and inner voice, you will create things out of it that will lead you towards enlightenment.
Man, shout out to Prince. I saw this other quote that was up here as well. And it says, when I first started out in this music industry, I was most concerned with freedom. Freedom to produce, freedom to play all the instruments on my records, which I believe this man played over 27 or 29 instruments on his first album. Everything. The freedom to play all the instruments on my records, freedom to say anything I wanted to. And this is what we fight for, DIYers, on a regular basis. This is what we fight for, and it's worth fighting for. And so I salute Maya. Because I know that it is not easy. But it's not supposed to be easy when it's something that you're fighting for that you actually think is worth fighting for. I love to see the conversation happening. I love to be a part of the conversation happening about what independence looks like, because I myself am something that is not by the book when it comes to an independent artist. And I love the fact that we get spaces for more transparency. You know, something that I had to really come to grips with is through the success of me doing this YouTube channel, through the success of me covering these stories, I've been able to teach a lot of people. I've been able to help a lot of people. I've been able to amplify a lot of things that otherwise would be ignored by the mainstream music, hip hop news cycles. And I'm proud of that. At the same token, though, the same independence that I preach about is the same independence that I look to enjoy as an independent artist myself. And sometimes in this pursuit of content, it can be a 60-hour week job for me. And I'm grateful for every single one of you that subscribe to this channel, that leave comments on it. And I hope you understand how important that is to me. But there's a part of me that is really looking at my own independence and recognizing, like, I didn't come here to be a content creator who makes music on the side. I came here to be an independent artist that happens to have a media-based company or outlet that supports whatever creative ideas that I have as an artist, whether that's, you know, putting albums together that have VHS blockbuster-like packaging to them. Like I've done that with a project I had called Home Movies. These are the things that I really, really want to get back to. And so in the process, what you're going to see is some transitions on this channel to make sure that I get my own damn independence back, because, man, you know, it is demanding at times. And so I'm in the process of restructuring that myself, and I'm grateful for it, DIYers. You know, those are my thoughts on that. What do you think about what Maya had to say on this? Do you see the same freedom as an independent artist, or for folks that are out there? What are your views? Share them with me down below in the comments.
DIY.
Tear in your eye. Don't